Welcome to Fort Wayne, Indiana, the location for the 2024 Ruiter Cup and tonight's 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft presented by Marriott. Wanted to welcome you into the booth. Michael along with Andrew and Nathan. Fellas, it should be a pretty exciting draft. There's plenty of high-profile prospects waiting to hear their name called. What's kind of caught your eye as we head into draft night?
Yeah, I think the first thing that jumps out to me is the quality of talent at the top end of the board. Blake Thomasma is obviously the home run first overall pick, but after that it gets murky. What are the captain's value at the top of the draft? I'm really excited to see how picks 2 through 8 unfold.
I couldn't agree more. There are some unknown commodities such as Jeff Ringling and Phil Tubman. What captain is going to be willing to take a shot on these guys, knowing it could pay off in a large way?
Yeah, obviously at this point, you know who the captains are, who will be running point on the weekend. But let's take a look at them anyways here. Mike Borsma will be in the blue polos on the weekend and taking control of Team Peppermint, while Nate Van Ryn will be on the citrus side of things. Looks like it's about time to get this draft underway, so let's send it down to the commissioner to kick things off.
It's time to get this show started. The 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft is now officially open. Team Peppermint is on the clock.
And so the evening begins in style here at the first ever Ruiter Cup Draft. Team Peppermint is on the clock, so let's take a look at the draft order for the evening. It might be a little confusing at first glance, but the picks are actually simpler than what they appear. Why are there some double picks? Well, in order to balance the value of the first overall pick and the difference in skill levels of the captains, we will have 3 back-to-back selections over the course of the evening. 1 for Team Peppermint at 8 and 9, and 2 for Team Citrus at 4 and 5, and later on at the tail end of the draft at 12 and 13. So Blake Thomasma is expected to be the top overall selection. It would be a total surprise to hear anyone else's name called. But after that, as we mentioned before, it seems to be a total guessing game as to how this crew will be selected. How do you guys have these golfers ranked?
After Thomasma, it's somewhat of a flavor preference for who is next. Matt Hines' irons and consistency make him the second guy in my big board, with Chris Van Ness not far behind at number 3. I think Jeff Ringling and Josh Zunema and Tyler Van Elst are all in that conversation as well. I've also seen Cody Falk going late in most mock drafts that I've seen, and I'm just here to tell you that his short game proficiency and ability with his wedges will make him a steal if he lasts late in the draft.
I have Jeff Ringling rated as my number 2 golfer in the entire draft. I think he's gotten a certain level of disrespect simply due to the fact that he's not playing in Michigan courses. Josh Zunema and Tyler Van Elst are in the next tier for me. Their wedges and putting should be a real weapon at the courses like Cherry Hill. And if you're looking for a dark horse, watch out for Dan Bergquist as a potential steal.
Well, Team Peppermint has submitted the first pick of the evening, so let's send it down to the commissioner to announce the selection.
With the first pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Peppermint selects Blake Thomasma.
Well, no surprises there. Team Peppermint takes the consensus top golfer in the draft and now has someone to contend with Citrus captain Nate Van Ryn.
Yeah, mere formality there. Blake was the obvious top option, and Peppermint wisely didn't outthink themselves. Blake should slide nicely into the ace spot in the Peppermint lineup and provide some real stability at the top of the order.
Speaking of aces, Thomasma got his first hole-in-one earlier this year at Thornapple Point, the only golfer of the group to ever record a hole-in-one. I think the best way to describe Blake's game is sweet and salty. He has some real power off the tee, yet has the touch to be a master with the wedges and the shots around the green. It's a rare combo, and explains why he has to be the no-brainer first overall selection.
Yeah. So now the draft really begins, right? We knew who was going number 1. Now what does Captain Nate Van Ryn do with the first ever selection for Team Citrus here at number 2?
It's really too tough to tell. We've heard plenty of names linked to Team Citrus throughout the process, but I'm guessing it's probably either going to be Matt Hines or Tyler Van Elst.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like Jeff Ringling will be off the top of the board this early, but you just never know. I think Hines, Van Elst, Ringling, and Zunema could be all in play here at number 2.
Well, no more time for waiting. The commissioner is ready to reveal who Captain Nate Van Ryn has selected here at number 2 for Team Citrus.
With the second pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Tyler Van Elst.
So Tyler Van Elst will don the green and provide a nice 1-2 Kelvin Christian punch for Team Citrus. Thoughts on the selection?
Not a huge surprise. Like we talked about earlier, golfers with a quality short game and precision should flourish at a course like Cherry Hill, where accuracy is a necessity. Van Elst is one of the best in the game in that regards. I like this pick a lot.
You know, I had some other golfers rated above Van Elst, but I totally get why Team Citrus went this direction. He should be a great partner to pair up with a teammate who has some short game woes. Someone like Tim Mantell, Jeff Ringling, or Grant Grunboom. But overall, it's a very safe pick for number 2.
Plenty of talent still on the board. Matt Hines, along with others, just waiting for a call and a chance to take on Cherry Hill this weekend. We have Jeff Ringling all the way in from Colorado, and of course, the Asian sensation, Josh Seidel. Who's going to go here at 3? Well, let's see.
With the third pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Peppermint selects Matt Hines.
So Matt Hines is headed to Team Peppermint. What should we know about the lefty?
Well, like you mentioned, he's one of 2 lefties in the group, which may not really sound like a huge deal, but a natural fade with the driver can be incredibly valuable to some holes such as number 5 and number 9.
Yeah, I like how steady of a presence he is compared to some of these other top golfers. Could Captain Mike have gone with Jeff Ringling, Chris Van Ness, or Phil Tubman or Josh Seidema? Sure, but I think Matt Hines provides you with the most stability out of all of them. That's why I have him ranked at number 2.
So Hines slots into the second spot on your big board, but let's take a look at the self-reported big board. These are the average scores that each golfer submitted when evaluating their own game. Right now, Josh Seidema and Jeff Ringling sit at the top of the big board, with Phil Tubman close behind. Maybe a little bit surprising that Matt Hines was picked as high as he was, but I'm sure we'll see some other surprises as the night continues. Team Citrus is ready with the next pick. Let's see which direction they decided to go.
With the fourth pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Chris Van Ness.
Wow.
The number 9 golfer on the self-reported big board goes number 4 overall, and all 3 of the current golfers on Team Citrus hail from Kelvin Christian. I'm sensing a real pattern early here in the draft.
Yeah, this one feels like a bit of a reach to me. I think with golfers such as Jeff Ringling and Josh Seidema still out there, it feels like a little bit of a homer pick that was made with bias.
I couldn't disagree more. I had Chris as the 3rd golfer on my big board, just behind Hines. Cherry Hill certainly has some tight fairways, and his ability to find the short grass off the tee is a weapon that will be extremely valuable on the first day of action. I love the pick.
So back-to-back picks for Team Citrus to offset the first overall selection. Where do they go here?
Has to be Jeff Ringling and Josh Seidema.
Here's the only thing I'll say. Don't be shocked if Phil Tubman hears his name next. From everything that we've heard, both teams have Tubman rated higher than the general public.
Would certainly be a shocker, but we've already had a few surprises here in the first couple picks. Team Citrus has back-to-back picks here with pick number 4. They wasted no time turning their pick in. Let's see if it's yet another Kelvin Christian graduate.
With the 5th pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Josh Seidema.
So yes, we've seen an early trend of Kelvin Christian Squires going to Team Citrus, but now with the selection of Josh Zeidema, we're maybe picking up on a new trend, and that being short game specialists going to Captain Nate and Team Citrus.
Yeah, I really like this pick. I'm a bit surprised that we haven't heard Ringling's name called within the first 5 picks, but Zeidema is a great value here at pick 5. Pair him with a long-range hitter from the bottom of the draft, and he can win you a match on his own with the short game.
Absolutely. He's magic with the wedges and putter. On one hand, I think this is great value for Team Citrus.
On one hand. What about the other hand?
Come on, you're just being rude.
So Nathan, like you mentioned, we're a little bit surprised that Jeff is still on the board. I mean, we haven't heard his name called yet here in the first 5 picks. Did you anticipate a fall out of the top 5 at all?
Look, I get that he plays in Colorado and doesn't have as many eyes on him to play his play.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's just downright disrespectful. Ringling has the potential to be a top golfer of the weekend, and so no, the fall is absolutely shocking.
I mean, he has to be the pick here at number 6, right? Has to be.
I mean, man, you would think. I would say his floor is probably pick 7. There's a world in which Tubman jumps him here at number 6.
Yeah, for sure. Well, time for waiting is up. Let's see. Commissioner's at the podium.
With the 6th pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Peppermint selects Jeff Ringling.
Well, there it is. Jeff Ringling's free fall is stopped here at pick 6, where he will join Captain Mike, first overall pick Blake Thomasma, and third overall pick Matt Hines on Team Peppermint.
The Colorado native definitely has some pop in his clubs. He's not going to be a star around the green, but he's among the best at driving the ball and following it up with the irons.
One of the best ball strikers at the Ruiter Cup. Like you said, maybe not the best short game you'll ever find, but with a lengthy course like Cherry Hill, he could be a great pairing in the scramble and alternate shot.
We've spent plenty of time talking about some of the top prospects in this year's draft, and rightfully so, but oftentimes the heartbeat of the team can come from the middle of the draft, where will guys such as Tim Mantell, one-time Harambe champion Ben Ruiter, two-time Harambe champion Cody Falk, and young guns such as Phil Tubman and John Sargent go. Let's see if any of them are heading to Team Citrus here with pick number 7.
With the 7th pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Phil Tubman.
So Phil Tubman here at number 7, was that a fairly easy pick?
Yeah, no real shocker there. I thought Scott Barlow was deserving of a look, but Tubman would have been easily my pick.
I'm not so sure about easy. Scott Barlow and John Sargent would have been in that conversation for me. Nate has been really prioritizing the short game, so I wonder if Cody Falk or Ben Ruiter crossed his mind. Because let's be honest with ourselves, Phil in big moments has not been a tasty combo in the past.
No. So let's dive in. What does Phil Tubman bring to Team Citrus?
Well, when he's at his best, he's an absolute weapon. He has some woes off the tee, but like many other golfers in Team Citrus, he's great around the greens. I think there's some real questions about how well he can perform under the spotlight, but if he plays up to his potential, he could be a great steal here at number 7.
I mean, I think we're getting to the point where we need to question these captain strategies. Captain Mike has been prioritizing power and ball striking, while Captain Nate has been scooping up the short game experts. At some point, when are either of these captains going to break away from the trend?
Well, here we go. The card has been submitted. Let's see who Team Peppermint picks here at number 8.
With the 8th pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Peppermint selects Gabe Tubman.
Well, folks, a lot of this industry is just rolling with the punches, and I have to say, we are just as perplexed as you are. Gabe Tubman, who nobody was expecting, gets selected by Team Peppermint. It sounds like we actually have boots on the ground. Reporter Ben Ruiter is standing live with more information on the selection. Ben?
Yes, good evening, Michael. Ben Ruiter reporting here live from the Biden campaign headquarters in Delaware, where we just received word that Scott Barlow has decided to drop out of the 2024 Ruiter Cup to spend all of his time working on the Joe Biden re-election campaign. Mr. Barlow was apparently very impressed with the president's performance in the debate a couple weeks ago and believes that fighting for the soul of this nation is much more important than a trophy made of Zinn cans. Now, we're being told that Gabe Tubman out of Cascade, Michigan will be Scott's replacement this week. Gabe is a pro-God, pro-Trump alpha male. Not much is known about his golf game, though, so Team Peppermint might be in for a surprise. Back to you.
Well, the trend hasn't been broken yet. Yet another bomber heads to Team Peppermint. Who would fit the bill for what they're looking for here at number 9?
If they're looking to add more power, I would think of John Sargent or Tim Mantell.
At some point, they have to add someone who specializes from 100 yards in. I'm guessing they go the opposite of their trend here and go with Ben Ryder or Cody Falk.
Well, let's send it down to the commissioner and find out for ourselves.
With the 9th pick in the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, Team Peppermint selects John Sargent.
So while most would categorize Sargent as a power hitter, I think his game has developed into a little bit more than just that.
Yeah, so he got a new putting method just a couple weeks ago, and I'm very interested to see how that looks in the action during the Ryder Cup.
To me, there was a clear teardrop from Sargent to the rest of the field, so I love this pick. A really versatile golfer when it comes to potential pairings.
So the first 5 picks are in the book for Captain Mike. Let's get his thoughts on the selections thus far.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're ecstatic with how it's gone so far, for sure. To get Blake number 1, home run pick, one of the very few guys who can take down Nathan Ryan, no-brainer. Then Matt falling to number 3. I mean, we had Hines rated as our second highest golfer in this entire deal. So for him to slip down to number 3, once again, a no-brainer. Then from there, we've kind of just stockpiled with some bigger sticks, if you will, some power hitters. To get Jeff Ringling, John Sargent, Gabe Tubman, all guys who can hit the ball and hit it hard. I know we may catch some heat for the Gabe Tubman pick, won't be shocked, maybe a little bit earlier than others would have taken him, but I think ultimately, when you're looking at the makeup of our team, we want guys who want to win. Often in a match, especially when it's match play, it's not the more talented guy, it's the guy who wants it just a little bit more. And if I know anything about Gabe, he's going to want every single match. So we're excited about what he's going to bring to the table too, and excited what some of these other picks will be here down the line. So thanks. Keep it minty.
Always fun to hear the captain's thoughts on his picks. Team Citrus is ready with their next selection, so let's get down to the commissioner.
With the 10th pick in the 2024 Ryder Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Ben Ryder.
So Ben Ryder, or Chili, as his teammates refer to him as, will be joining Team Citrus for the weekend. Are you guys surprised at the pick at all?
No, not at all, really. He was a no-brainer in my book. The driver's not been his friend as of late, but the rest of his game just keeps getting better and better. He's the type of guy you want making a putt with the match on the line.
You're exactly right. Can he keep the biggest stick in play? Cherry Hill requires so much accuracy with the driver. I'm curious if he can afford to take less than driver off the tee, or will he be willing to miss the fairway? Regardless, the pick makes total sense.
So we just got Captain Mike Borsma's take on his first 5 picks, so let's hear from Captain Nate about his selections thus far.
Yeah, I think we couldn't be happier with how it's gone so far. I think you can look at that board and you can see how much talent that we've added to our team. But beyond that, we're so happy about the types of people and the character that we've added to our locker room. That's what we're about here at Team Citrus. That's the type of people we have in the front office, and that's the type of people we put out on the course. People with personality that bring their own zest to the table. People that are here for one thing, and that's wanting to win. We don't need flashiness. We quite frankly, there's been a lot of talk about Team Peppermint and them having cooler uniforms and all that, and I don't really care. We don't need the flashiness of a polo. We need the flashiness of that trophy, and we fully intend to be lifting that on Sunday. And ultimately, that's all that matters, and that's what's going to happen. So it's going to be a fun weekend, and we'll see you out there. Awesome. Thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate it.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper, Impossible or Bacon Whopper, I rule this day. And BK, have it your way.
Welcome back to the 2024 Ruiter Cup Draft, presented by Courtyard by Marriott.
Welcome back to Fort Wayne. So it's Tim Mantell here at number 11. What do we need to know about the newest member of Team Peppermint?
Well, at 6'4", the kids' clubs just weren't going to work anymore. The biggest improvement to his golf game this year was as simple as heading to Golf Galaxy and grabbing a new set of clubs.
If only improving his short game was just as easy. Mantell is great off the tee and consistent with his irons as well, but developing some touch and close proximity is the next step in his game. He's a bull in a china shop when it comes to the putters or the wedges in his hands.
He's a vibes guy? What does that even mean? How does that contribute to an alternate shot or singles match?
Good question. I'm not really sure.
Me either.
So only 3 golfers remain. Dan Bergquist, Cody Falk, and Grant Groom are still on the board as we near the end of the 2024 Ryder Cup Draft. Team Citrus has back-to-back selections here to round out their part of the draft. Let's see if they grab yet another Kelvin Christian Squire with Grant Groom at pick 12.
With the 12th pick in the 2024 Ryder Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Cody Falk.
So Cody Falk is heading to Team Citrus. Now, there's a lot that's unknown about Cody's game at this point in the season. What have you guys heard at this point about where his game is at?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a mystery. I think that if he can
No, this is not any mystery. At one point, Cody was one of the best golfers out there. From what I've heard now, though, getting the ball off the ground is nearly impossible with any club longer than a pitching wedge. There's not a golfer out there that can win a match with just a pitching wedge and a putter.
I will say, even if he can't use his driver, he is going to be a great fit for Team Citrus and what they value with his excellent short game. His wedges are great, and they should really shine this weekend.
That's a great point. Well, it looks like Team Citrus is wasting no time with their next selection, so let's see if it's Dan Bergquist or Grant Groom.
With the 13th pick in the 2024 Ryder Cup Draft, Team Citrus selects Grant Groom.
Well, it's been a draft full of trends, and we see yet another trend come through here at 13 as Team Citrus has their 4th Calvin Christian Squire on the squad.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting pick. Grant is really in his rookie year of golf and has certainly had some inconsistencies. Dan Bergquist would have been my pick here personally.
Grant has shown some promise, that's for sure. He's historically gotten off to slow starts each round, but he finds his groove as the round goes on. I think this sort of weekend could be a great fit for him.
Mr. Optimist over here. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's just a bad pick.
So Big Red is headed to Team Citrus, which means Team Peppermint has one option here with their final selection. Let's make it official.
With the 14th pick in the 2024 Ryder Cup Draft, Team Peppermint selects Dan Bergquist.
Thoughts on Dan heading to Team Peppermint?
Absolute travesty that he fell to pick number 14. I think Dan is incredibly underrated and should make a larger impact this weekend than most people are expecting.
Yeah, I think Dan should fit in perfectly with Team Peppermint. They have plenty of power at the top of their lineup, so adding someone like Dan, who is a great putter, should make for some great pairings. About as great of a last pick as you could have asked for.
So all 12 picks are in the book. Let's take a final look at the rosters for both teams as we head into the weekend.
Joining Captain Nate Van Ryn on Team Citrus will be Tyler Van Elst, Chris Van Ness, Josh Seidema, Phil Tubman, Ben Ryder, Cody Falk, and Grant Groom. And then joining Mike Horsma on the Peppermint side is Blake Thomasma, Matt Hines, Jeff Ringling, Gabe Tubman, John Sargent, Tim Mantell, and Dan Bergquist.
All right, so all 14 picks are now in the books. I know you guys are just getting your first glance at these teams, but just off the rip here, how do you guys think the weekend is going to work its way out?
Yeah, I think both of these teams are perfectly matched up with each other. I think it's going to be exciting the whole way through.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, I would say that I think Team Peppermint's power off the tee and the accuracy there is going to be something that can help them set up to finish holes strong, but I think this is something that could come down to the last couple holes.
To me, I see Team Citrus's short game just really putting them a notch over Team Peppermint, just being able to finish out those holes and limiting strokes.
It should be interesting for sure. So that should do it from here at Fort Wayne. 2024 Ryder Cup is now in the books. Be sure to tune into ESPN tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. to watch the first round action of the 2024 Ryder Cup. So long from Fort Wayne.